In the last section, you might have seen me entering a lot of kubectl or the kubectl commands. You might find it difficult to follow it. So, I'll be explaining what kubectl does. So, kubectl is a client that interacts with the K8s server. So, the most common kubectl commands that we use are the kubectl get, delete, describe, logs, and exec. It's good that you by heart or understand what this commands does, and one important one is apply -f and the file name .yaml file. So kubectl get is used to collect all the resources. We'll come at a later stage what these resources are. So delete resource, whenever you are deleting, you need to specify the resource and you need to specify the resource name, as well as when you are trying to describe something, you need to specify the resource and resource name. And when it comes to logs and exec, you just need to provide the resource name. So resource name is nginx and resource are pods, services, or deployments. So there are a lot of resources that are available in Kubernetes. So when it comes to get, you need to specify the resource type as a whole, like pod, get pods. So let's look what all resources are available. So the most important resources are pods, deployment, ReplicaSet, service, Ingress. You can read more about this later, else this video will be way longer. So most important one is pod, most important one is deployment, services, Ingress. Other common resources include ConfigMap, secrets, PersistentVolumeClaim, job, cron jobs, stateful set, daemon set. So these are the available resources. So let's construct the command. So let's say if you want to get the pod, kubectl get pods. Let's say you want to delete something, delete a pod, kubectl delete pod. Okay, let me add it here, that will be better. So it will be like kubectl get pods. Okay, there will be additional parameters also that you can learn on the go. Let's say if you want to delete something, so kubectl delete pods or delete pod or delete pods and nginx, the resource name. Okay, let me show you the real example. Why to type it here? So kubectl. Okay, let's start with the get. Okay, let me bring up. Okay, ls and clear. So I'll apply. It'll start from the base. So let's see, kubectl apply -f and the file name. So applying the file pods.yaml file. So you can see it created the container. So we covered the apply -f. Delete. Okay. So kubectl get the resource. So resource includes pod. So kubectl get pod. You can see it shows you the pod names. If you want additional details, I mean all the pods that are running, then you should give the -a parameter. If you are not providing any parameter, it shows all the pods that are running on the default namespace. You can look into namespaces in a separate video, some other YouTube video. You can look for the namespaces and all. It makes the things complicated. Not complicated, it's a, what would I say, logical separation of Kubernetes deployments. So that's a simple definition of namespace, logical separation of Kubernetes deployments. So let's say if you want to see something that is specific to the specific namespace, the containers that are running to the that are running in the specific namespace, let's say I'm giving default, it shows okay the ones that are running in the default namespace. Let's say if I just give, I want the pods that are running in the cube system namespace, it shows the container the pods that are running in the cube system namespace. So for now you just need to remember get, when you're using get you need to specify the resource. So another resource that we have is deployment. Let's see whether we have any deployments now. Deployment, you can see there is no resources available because we haven't created any deployments till now. So get is clear, right? Now let's delete it at the end. Okay, now let's see how to describe something, describe the pod. So Kubectl describe pod nginx. You can see it gave a lot of details of the nginx pod, when it was created, when it was started, what image that we are using, or which ports it is running, which port it is exposing to the host port, so what volumes it is using. So a lot of information, and the most important piece is it gives you this logs. Let's say some pod is having trouble starting up, so how you debug is through the describe. So you run the describe pod name, and it shows you events, what all happened. If something is failing, it will show the reason why it is failing, why it is unable to pull, whether it's some network issue or something. So describe is pretty useful for debugging. So again, Kubectl describe, resource, and resource name. That's how we provide it. The next thing is you have to get the logs. So similar to Kubernetes, similar to Docker. So Kubectl logs -f, and you provide the -f. If you're familiar, it's just for following, it's not required. So you need to provide the pod name nginx. You can see it gives you the, let me clear it. Okay, Kubectl logs and the resource name. Resource name is nginx. So it gives you the logs from the nginx pod. So you can see it started running. So that's with the logs. And the next thing is exec. So exec, again similar to Docker, Kubectl exec ti, and you need to run for nginx and bash. You can see I'm inside the container. Now I can execute commands. I logged into the container as a root user. So that's how you run the exec. You can exit from it. And next, final one is delete. Delete again comes in the format Kubectl delete resource and resource name, similar to exec. Delete pod nginx, and it deleted the pod nginx. Similarly, you can delete services deployments. We'll come to what is deployments and services later. That's it. And if you see, the reason why we just provide exec and logs to a resource name, it's because it's specific to a resource. Let's say if you are running, if you want to exec, we specifically need to exec into a pod. So there's no point in providing the resource type here. Whereas delete and describe, the same logic goes through, what you have to delete multiple types of resources with same name. So it is good to have this resource tag attached to it. So just remember these 5-6 commands and you are 90% good to go with Kubectl management or the K8 server management. Get, delete, describe, logs, exec, and apply. If you know this 3 plus 3 6 commands, you are good to go. And don't by heart the template for creating pods or the deployment files. So this is the end of day one. In next session we'll be going with deployments. Till now we haven't seen any real use of having Kubernetes. We just created pod, but the same thing you can do in container. Why to have all the overhead? So as we mentioned here, the deployment, when it comes to deployment, we have this additional functionality like high availability, managing replicas, disaster recovery. So we'll be seeing the real fruits of Kubernetes in the next day. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, just learn this 6 commands and you're good to go. Thank you. Yeah, bye.